Turn me on, Daddy. Turn me on. Hello, Daddy.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did the episode start?
Hello, Daddy.
Hello.
There you are.
Oh.
Turn me on.
All right.
Hey, I've been looking all over for you.
Okay.
Here,
Hi,
there,
everyone.
Hello.
everywhere.
Forklift.
Care to explain? No. I could just make another review like nothing ever happened and no one would be none the wiser. Or hell, no one would really care if I really did say, oh, I was here because XYZ. Oh, I was here because XYZ happened. Sure they do. I have 500 subs. No one cares. Just sum it up. Fine, so my sister... Is that the alligator? What about it? We should watch that. No. Come on, you've been on the horror movie slump. Why not get to the old classics? You know, like Cujo, Jaws, Alligator, Frogs, Smokey. Just try and get back to, you know, the cult classic of, oh my god, this animal is out to kill me. You know, one of the more bigger fears out there. The bigger predator going after another bigger predator, aka the humans. I guess I'm not doing any long intro or whatever these kids are doing nowadays. There's no point in it anyway. I'm kind of lazy. So this movie starts off well with Freddie Mercury going to... I actually don't know what he's doing, but he trips on a piece of wood, getting bit by an alligator. Meanwhile, a crowd is watching as two people come to his aid as the alligator bites the hell out of him. And what better way to avoid such a terrifying experience is to buy one? No, really, the little girl Marissa buys it a small-ass tank with rocks and a few things to climb on, no water, no anything to help it survive. The vet tech in me is enraged. Also, fun fact, my uncle had a Cayman alligator. It was pretty stunted and it got to be like this big, but like with the tail, it was that big, more or less. But either way, it did not, like people, it death rolled any kill it got. It almost bit his fingers and him multiple times, like too many to count. Just don't buy gators in general. There's another YouTube channel that has Rex the alligator. They even say don't have a pet alligator. They're not pets. They're reptiles that have an insatiable hunger. Don't buy gators. Fun fact of the day. But we don't get to see it in baby form for long since the dad comes screaming and when Marissa's at the science fair, he flushes it down the toilet. So blame dad for all the carnage that ensues in this movie. We cut to 12 years later as a homicide detective, Detective Madison, comes to the scene of a crime where an arm has been chewed up by something. I'm going to skip through this part because my PTSD cannot handle it. Being a vet tech sure was fun. I'm trying not to cry right now. No, I'm not. While I was writing this, I was. Right now, no. I have chunk of butt. So, for many reasons, while I was watching this, and for the mental health of me who probably is editing this, and this is a big trigger warning because it fucked me up to where the ending will describe my whole thoughts at the very end when I go through the good and the bad. And there's nothing wrong with this movie. There is nothing wrong with the movie. They wanted to show bad, they showed bad. And the comeuppance came to these people, but I'm going to sum it up because this is really, because I don't use triggering, but it was triggering for me. So that's fun. So the main story around this is Slade, not Teen Titans Slade, but this company, Slade, is basically taking dogs, primarily puppies, off of the street and then experimenting on them of this growth serum, which it would be like this tiny dog, this tiny chihuahua suddenly turns into like the size of a Great Dane. Like that's what they were trying to do. And that's what this Slade guy was trying to do. And it's not successful except for maybe our main gator. It's an alligator. It's not a gator. It's an alligator. So that is that. But as a vet technician, used to be vet technician, this happens. Fun story. again, trigger warning, one of the doctors actually ordered some animals to be tested on for surgery for the new surgeons, for old surgeons, for just to see like how did these animals die of, like what did they have, that sort of thing. And it was 16 cats heads and 16 dog heads. She did not know where they came from. That concerned me the most. They could have come from the streets. They could have been surrendered. They could have had diseases where they were put down. There are a lot of shelters that put down animals. They could have been like your neighborhood dog that suddenly goes missing and then ended up on our operating table. No shit. The reason why I said that, it was because most of them were beagles. The rest were like tabby mixes. And then the other stuff was... And the other stuff, like, two of them, one dog and one cat, had like an ear in each, like in the ear, like at the top there. Sorry, mama. And so, yeah, I still remember that. I'm still fucking scarred. And I just remember 16 for both of them. Because they also came in a cooler full of ice. This happens. So whenever you let your dog or your cat roam outside, just know that someone like Dick Fuck over here can come and pick them up, and they can be used to experiment on and die. You'll never know. Because it does happen. That's a sad reality. Especially as a pet store owner.
We live in an actual nightmare!
Am I triggered right now? Yes, I am. Because I'm remembering it. Fuck. Thankfully, we cut to Detective Madison, who is out to try and find out what happened to this person whose arm they just found. Glutchel, the pet store guy, yes, that's his name, takes the bodies of the animals down to the main drain and shoves them deep into the nasty water. Oh, and that alligator. It's alive. Now, there are stories in New York of having gators, but in all honesty, something like this that could happen is very rare, and they would most likely die because of all the chemicals, especially for its size, too, since it was a baby, and there are rats the size of freaking cars down there. So it's a very unlikely chance that this thing would live, but somehow it does, and it kills Gitchell.
Yay!
They find his body the next day, and for God's sake, stop showing the Slade guy, because it pisses me off every time I see him. He comes up clean, mostly, as Detective Madison has to talk to the press, and Jackass over here suddenly decides to derail the whole entire conversation about a sudden serial killer leaving body parts, and just decides to ask, hey, you remember that thing that happened 5 years ago with your partner? Yeah, how did he die?
He's an asshole.
No, really, what's the point? Who cares if this detective had a partner die? Do you know how many detectives have actually had partners that just leave to go to another place or just pass away suddenly? Hey, if this one detective has a partner that dies of a heart attack, are you going to blame him because he was too hard on him? No. Shut up. There's a killer out here just leaving body parts just around here. They don't know anything. It's only two. They can't give out real information because they themselves cannot try and, like, take back every word they say. And this guy's over here going, oh, yeah, remember when your partner died 5 years ago? What do you feel about that? That's bad journalism, number one. Number two, what is it your business? Number three, oh, I want to get the scoop on him. Cool. Do you know how many people in there are just assholes? Because they have the higher authority, because they wear the badge to serve and protect. This one right here, she almost ate me. Put that in the fucking paper. What's the point? You put it in your paper, everyone's like, oh my God. What about those murders? He's the only one writing about this too. Everyone else is like, oh, these murders, like, oh my God, what about these murders? And then he's like, detective, there's two partners. Yeah. Detective Madison and Blondie here, Kelly, are about to go investigate the sewers as a guy walks in confessing, and he's going to take the rest of the cops with him. No, but he's strapped with a bomb saying that they sent him.
Oh, we're doing this again? I have a bag of confetti saved up.
Nah, but for real, it's just radio and a showdown and a countdown timer. Hey, good one, Dustin the meth head. You always got them jokes. You're serving life this time. Kelly and Detective Madison head to the sewer. They get lost for a bit before coming across an open part of the tunnel, but trouble comes as Kelly goes missing, while Detective Madison has his back turned. Detective Madison goes looking for him, only to find a lantern and Detective Kelly copping a feel.
Why are you gay?
Son of a bitch. Wait a minute, I got it. There you go, unroll it one more. That's it.
The alligator attacks as Kelly goes ahead, knocking him back with his tail. They quickly run as the alligator is hot in their tracks. They come up to a grate, but it's stuck. The gator grabs onto Kelly and grabs him, dragging him away, killing him. Detective Madison wakes up in the hospital as he's not staying long. The nurses and the head detective tell him to stay and that he's to see a psychiatrist. Okay. So I've had 2 partners die within a 5-year span. That'll be $11,000. Ree! Oh yeah, and that one reporter who just asked about his dead partner, he's back. Why do they just let anyone into this place? They talk to a herpetologist named Dr. Kendall, you know, the little girl from the beginning, Marissa, who tells them that the big alligator they saw would not be possible with all the toxic gases and no sunlight and the low food supply. What's even better is that the other cops are basically bullying him and reading his story that was in the paper. So the bully button doesn't exist here in this whole freaking place. Not only that, but the reporter asks about Detective Madison, and the nurse gives away everything about his meds, dreams, nightmares. Hell, you might as well just have the reporter find out that the guy has a dog he adopted from the pet shop. You know, the one that had all those other animals killed. Isn't there, like, a law stating you cannot give out personal information to, like, strangers? Oh, wait, it's the 80s. You're going to jail. Don't fret, folks. This reporter isn't going to last long. No, he dies because curiosity killed the gator. Oh, I hate myself. Detective Madison gets the call as it turns out that the reporter actually captured his killer. The killer Croc. No, wrong movie. The SWAT team heads down, ready to kill the beast. They don't find it, but funny enough, Detective Madison and the chief head home. The alligator breaks through the concrete and makes its way downtown. No, really, how did a 15-foot gator just suddenly get through the tiny passageway that Kelly and Madison went through? Because they had to bend down. That gator had to do this. Make it make sense, but also movie logic. The kids run away as Michael Bay comes back. Nice of him to make an appearance. Somehow, this explosion doesn't kill the cop, but the alligator does. The slowest moving alligator. The alligator heads for the lakes. They find its footprints, finding it to be ginormous as they set off explosives to trying to make it come up. Newsflash, it doesn't. They figure out that this alligator has been injected to be made bigger, even though we've never seen it be captured, and we have no clue if the other animals it's eaten can do that, which I don't believe is possible, because if they were, in that case, the rats would be the size of semis, which they're not. I can believe that maybe they'd be bigger, but considering that those rats are probably bigger because of trash. Eesh. We go back to Dr. Evil Bastard, who basically says that the medicine injected in the animals had high testosterone and insatiable appetites. He comes back to give the word to the chief, but he gets fired. So the guy who helped you realize that there was a dangerous carnivore out there is just fired. You fired him. You know how stupid that looks, right? Even if you were paid to, why? There are so many other officers that'd be like, hey, didn't he find out that we had a problem here? Why is he packing up his shit? That won't raise any alarms, now will it? Calm down. Calm down, ma'am. And as any good cop who is fired, he takes evidence, like the timer that one guy had and who also had the stick of dynamite. He tells Marissa the news as Detective Madison and Marissa go looking to find its nest, and do. Oh, by the way, a boy who is told to walk the plank at his own birthday party is killed.
Hey.
Marissa and Detective Madison make out.
Yay.
And I don't think I've mentioned it, but a new detective was put onto the case. He was a dick and died because of his cockiness.
You, want to see my rock collection?
Yes, I would love to see your two rose quartz. I would also like to see your lapis lazuli, if you know what I mean. I'm disgusted with myself. Don't forget to bring the salt lamp. I don't like that. The two head out once more to the sewers as they believe it's already making its routes towards the canal.
Oh no, there goes Grandma.
Damn, these police do sure know how to blow up the vehicles that they're driving. A little too often. Are you guys okay? No, but more people die. Another gets its leg eaten as Detective Madison and Marissa figure it's heading to Slade Mansion, which also happens to be a wedding. Please be the dickhead. Please be the dickhead whose name I have no absolute clue of and I don't care to know. Please be the dickhead. Please be the dickhead. And by golly, does my wish come true. Not only does he kill all the Slade guys, but the mayor as well. Marissa and Detective Madison figure out that the alligator is heading back towards the sewer. Cool. Tell the others, right? Detective Madison goes down, heading towards part of the sewer with a lot of methane as the alligator follows. He nearly doesn't make it out as the alligator explodes, and just for fun, so does a car and the other manholes around. But even better is that another baby alligator is dropped into the sewer, and the cycle continues. Good. Bad. My PTSD. Jokes, because I can't afford therapy.
But the voices, they never stop. See you in an hour.